My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I am reviewing from the house of Amouage, OPUS XIII Silver Oud Eau de Parfum. This is £425 for 100ml. The base notes are amberone, birch essence, gaiac wood essence, castoreum, oud, woody, amber. Middle notes, oud assam, essence, vanilla Madagascar absolute, cyprol essence, Haitian vetiver essence, patchouli, Virginian cedarwood essence. Do we have our bottles of Amouage Silver Oud? Are we engaged with a higher self? Let's get testing. So Silver Oud, all those essences, what am I expecting? Well, I think I know that from the house of Amouage, it's going to be beautifully created, Middle Eastern, strong, long-lasting, interesting. Kind of what I think about it. I think if anyone's going to do an oud fragrance really well, I think it's going to be Amouage. It's just what I think about. Ultimately, the bottle's very nice. I don't know why I didn't do a silver bottle. Silver oud, and it's kind of like a brown. So let's have a look at the atomizer. It's a nice cap, weighty. I mean, it feels like a luxury range. The thing is with concentrations of perfume to alcohol ratio, when it's above 20, it's really hard to get really good dispersion because the viscosity, the thickness and flow tends to be much heavier. And when you have a very heavy formula, so when you're combining lots of naturals like patchouli, it's quite heavy and viscous, unless it's very light patchouli. The viscosity and thickness of flow is very heavy. It doesn't have that sort of citrus, volatile viscosity where you can push the concentration up quite high and atomizers can deal with it. For this sort of formula, it's really hard to get that sort of like wide dispersive nature. Just the nature of it doesn't work. So on my skin, I'm expecting it to be sort of shiny, so I expect to see the oil content. So let's buy the fragrance and see what we think. So castoreum is a raw material that traditionally came from beavers. And personally, I don't like using animal extracts unless it's ambergris, which is generally found. It's not from whaling anymore. So I just want to check something. Okay, this is saying castoreum, but it's not saying if it's aroma chemical construction of castoreum, if it's castoreum. If somebody could leave a comment below whether this is non-animal origin, that'd be really nice. I wish I had researched all of that before I would have done this, but I don't like animal byproducts in perfumery apart from ambergris. I just don't like it. I just don't think there's any need, actually. So this is giving you sweet, lively, but it dries down to wood, smoke, leather, animal. It's kind of the journey of this. This has been sweetened with ethyl maltol, large amounts of ethyl maltol, because if this formula would be unbearable if it's not sweetened. And in this aspect, I think it absolutely is that balance. And this formula would have been a balancing act. And would have been a lot of toing and froing of it. And I think the problem is with these large amounts of animal notes, oud, gaiac wood, which is so smoky, dark, thick, browny green, patchouli, which is a dark, resinous. You absolutely have to sweeten it. Completely unpalatable. It would have been more of those niche things instead of being wearable. For radiance, they're using wood compounds, and the wood compounds within formulas are very important. When you're supporting oud, you need to support it with woods, wood ambers, and ambers. There's a category which go together. Also sweetened with raspberry ketone. Raspberry ketone with oud kind of just goes together. They hold hands really lovely and walk skipping through the street. They just very go together. Some ouds are quite dirty and animalistic, and you sweeten it to make it more palatable. It was very much like cookery, where you would take a raw material and then you would support it and you would add different things to it to increase what aspect you're going for with the raw material. In this aspect, these sort of sweetened oud, very rarely do you kind of just go full throttle oud. Sometimes you do, but not many people like that. It's quite vibrant, quite lively, quite interesting. But the wood raw materials, depending on where you go, which help to support oud, and the wood aspect of oud. So oud has different aspects to it. And by putting in the raw materials allows you to pick out what you kind of want the oud to smell like. If you're picking an oud, you'd want to sweeten it, and then you kind of think, well, where am I going to go with that? I want something vibrant. And you would go with sort of one of the more vibrant wood compounds. And Jarvenol, in this aspect, Jarvenol is really expensive. I think for a kilogram, it's over £1,000, and then your VAT and carrying fee. So Jarvenol is one of these super raw materials which gives lots of lift and elevation through a formula. And because it's quite thick, it gives you sort of that expansion through the formula. And also supports oud in a really nice way. Actually, it kind of carries it and lifts it. On to my final thoughts. I think this is a really new take on oud, but it's also really familiar because of the way it's been constructed, you see. So the basis of isosuper, ethyl maltol, raspberry ketones are very familiar. And I think that's really important within a formula to give people something different, but something they kind of can smell. Oh yeah, that's a sweet oud. I'm kind of not detecting too much leather. So this has been handled really well, exactly like how I thought it was going to be. So this smells like Amouage. So if you like Amouage, you're going to like this. If you like oud, you're going to like this. Fits in that category of, okay, it's a oud fragrance from Amouage. The dry down is better than initially when you apply it. When you initially apply it, it sort of smells a little bit sort of jumbled up and smells quite, sort of, you get the mixture of the sweetness and the leather and the this and the that and the oud, it kind of, and then, but as it dries down, it sort of becomes expansive and it sort of works. So initially I wouldn't judge it at all. How I judge it is applying it, going away and smelling it like now. It's very nice, very pleasant, strong, as I would have thought. It's going to have, the hotter you get, give you sillage and projection of that. This fragrance has been designed to not give you masses of projection immediately. This fragrance has been designed, we apply it and it comes off. And it sort of gives you quite round, soft geometry. So the geometry is quite round and smooth. It's very smoothness with it as well. That's the Jarvenol to it. Not musk heavy, which is, there's loads of ways to build perfume. So this has been built to just keep going and going and going. And it's quite soft and smooth. I think it's absolutely unisex. I think if you love oud, you love leather, you love animalistic notes, it's not too animalistic to be unwearable, but I think there's enough of that to smell. It smells like an oud. It smells very royal, smells very regal, smells very enjoyable. I'm gonna mark it a 9 out of 10. I think it's very nice. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. I kind of would like, if I was being very picky for this sort of price, sort of a lot of projection to it. I would have liked it to give a lot of top notes. It kind of goes straight into middle and base notes, which is fine, but I would have loved a bit of top notes to it, you know, and I think a bit of bergamot on this would have sort of softened it. Ambery notes would have been very nice in this as well, but I kind of love it. I think it's very nice. So I hope you loved that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for fascinating, interesting content, lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance reviews. Hope you're staying safe and well. See you soon.